Kia ora, and welcome to Who's Who, in conversation with community champions. My name is Priti Garude, and I'll be your host for this show. Who's Who is a collaboration between Communities Action Trust and Apna Network NZ, where we talk to community leaders and frontline workers on the impact of COVID on their community and the work that they did during this period. Today with us, we've got Leah Rodriguez-Palomer with us. Welcome to the show, Leah.
Thank you so much, Priti, for having me.
Leah is a business manager at Asian Family Services, and their work and impact has been quite tremendous on the community, especially before, during, and after COVID as well. So, Leah, I think in the first instance, I'll just ask you to introduce yourself and what is it that, as a business manager, that you do at Asian Family Services?
My name is Leah, as you mentioned earlier. As a business manager, my biggest role is to grow the organization and to find out how we can help the community more. And so my focus is to look at opportunities, gaps in the community, and see how the gaps, opportunities, and our organization can fit in together for the betterment of the community. I've been with Asian Family not long ago, but one thing is I've learned a lot of how well they supported the community, their passion to work with the Asian community and migrants community. And that really inspired me to work with them.
Oh, awesome. So just talking a little bit about Asian Family Services, do you want to just give us a little bit of a brief or context as to what is it that Asian Family Services does in the first instance?
Asian Family Services, we are the only service provider for Asian community who are experiencing and being impacted by gambling harm and mental health and addiction. Asian Family Services has been present since 1998. Our gambling harm minimization program is our core business initially, and from there it just grows and grows. We have very passionate people who work out there in the community. Under the gambling harm, we support people in 3 different areas. So we do the brief intervention, we have the helpline, we have the clinical. We do have lots of clinicians who work with us. So all of our staff are professionals who work with people with gambling issues. And we also do public health, so we do go out there and promote what's the gambling harm and what other support they can have to minimize the impact of this harm to themselves and their family and the community. On top of that, we have different services. We do have the Asian Wellness Team, which is part of ProCare, that's under the public health, and they work in the GP setting to support people who's going through some mental health issues, some distress issues. Not necessarily, they don't need to be diagnosed to be referred to them, but they help them through going through that, and in some ways this will minimize them being diagnosed in the future. We also have the Asian Wellness Service, which provides counseling services and supporting not only GP practices but also school around providing effective psychoeducation to community. We have psychologists who work there, so they can provide psychological interventions. This service, I'm very passionate about this service because it helps the community to overcome the barriers. It becomes open to them because it's in the GP, it's in the community, it's in the school. So any stigma barrier around distress, mental health issues, it could overcome that because it's in there. It's confidential and they're free to talk about all their challenges. We have the Asia team as well. That's the South Asian service that we have, and they're doing similar to Asian Wellness Service, and they are supporting the community as well, not only with counseling, social work and stuff like that, but they also provide the public health. I don't know if you've seen them before.
Yes,
they're out there providing information to the community. With the Asian Helpline, that's one of the biggest contract we have. It helps They provide brief intervention over the phone. They provide immediate support to people who's having challenges.
Yeah.
And it's an easy 0800 number that they can call without, they don't need to give all the information.
Yeah.
And the person answering the call can provide all, the brief intervention, can do referrals for them, and can support them on what's available. They can navigate the services available in the community for them. So that's one of the biggest contract we have, and we have 8 languages in that helpline. We have the Japanese, Korean, Mandarin, Cantonese, Hindi. We have Thai, Vietnamese, and of course English as well.
Yeah.
We do a lot of researches as well.
Yeah.
So that research service, it helps for us to have enough evidence of what are the needs in the community.
Yeah.
So it's quite helpful for us. And also it gives voice for the Asian population. So we act not only as a provider of the service, but also the voice and advocate for the Asian community to tell the ministry, to tell the government that these are the needs, and these are all evidence-based.
Yeah.
And, who can say no to an evidence-based?
Definitely.
Yeah. And also it gives the Asian community the courage to speak up.
Yeah.
And to know that, hey, we have to help each other out. We have to hold hands and say what we need to say. We need to be heard. You need to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And back, we also have the MSD service, and that's where our COVID support kind of started. We, during the COVID times, MSD contacted us, contacted different providers of what they can offer, of how we can support our community. So we were given the opportunity to have the fund to support our community. For who are affected by COVID.
Yeah. So let's just talking about that. Before we go into the programs and the initiatives that were done by Asian Family Services, what was it? Because you are right, like the organization is right in the thick of what the community is experiencing. What was it, just very briefly, and we all know what it was, that the community went through, but what was it that you observed? What were the challenges faced by the community primarily during COVID?
Initially, during COVID time, how I mentioned, we have the counseling services, we have all of that are face-to-face support.
Yeah.
They come to us, we go to them, we have groups, we go to them, we have correction services as well, we have all those things happening, and then suddenly lockdown happens.
Yeah.
And then, of course, our therapies, our counselors doesn't know how to reach out to their clients.
Yeah.
And that time is the most challenging times for our clients because it's so uncertain, it's so unsettling, and all of us don't know what's going to happen next. So we kind of like, okay, we have to all have to pause and stop and think, what are we going to do next? How are we going to provide service now that it's mostly needed? This is the worst time, back then it's all maintenance, but this time there's a real need. A lot of people are very anxious. Our clients who have gambling issues, they're even more anxious because they can't go to the casino, they can't see their therapies. So all this challenges are happening in one go. So we just have to think of an alternative situation. But it wasn't easy because at that time, we have all the Zoom and Teams now, but back then, who knows about Zoom? I don't know about Zoom. All I know is that we can use the phone, but we know that doing counseling, one-on-one support over the phone is not the same. And people are more anxious wanting to see the professionals. But then we are all scared about COVID.
Yeah.
We're all scared of getting it. How are we going to get it? And we hear people dying and all that.
Yeah.
So it was very challenging times, very testing time. And for us too, as a professionals, we don't know whether to go to the office. If we don't go to the office, are we still going to have a job? And we worried about our own clients too.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a job too. So what's going to happen next? How long will all this take?
Yeah. So what did you do? How did it go ahead?
Well, like most NGO, we just talk about it. We're going to do Zoom. We've all learned how to use Zoom.
Yeah.
And I think the communication we had with our clients become more, to be honest. It increases because previously we see them once a week or once a fortnight. But because of the need of COVID, and plus, I mean, let's be honest, working from home, it's less time to travel.
Yeah.
You can do more. You can do more phone calls. There's more phone communication. The communication, we open it up to them. Whereas before we say to them, we only see each other once a week. You bring your topic or your issues that day, blah, blah. This is my day off. I don't work this day. Now we are more open to them texting us, communicating with us via technology, because that's the only way we can communicate with them. And we also supported them more around, we are concerned to them. We ring them, we call it welfare check to make sure that they're okay, their family's okay, that if they need anything, at least they can have a blah with us. Our organization's been very supportive of the staff as well. Assuring the staff that you have a job, that we support you. If you can't make it, we can't go to the site, it's completely okay. We're all on lockdown. You do your best. And I think there's more communication as well. At that time, I wasn't directly with AFS, Asian Family Services, but I am their contractor. And as a contractor, initially, I actually don't hear from them until I have a new client or during supervision, but they started communicating with me more because they want to know that I'm okay, that I'm safe, my family's okay, that I'm okay being supported on me supporting my own clients. Providing that therapy, that one-on-one with my client, that I have enough supervision. So whereas previously it's once a month that we talk. I talk to my manager, then it becomes every week. And it wasn't really a bad thing. I don't even feel that it's work. It becomes a natural thing to communicate. I've noticed that our relationship actually as colleagues become closer. Although we miss each other face to face, but that contact with each other has increased.
That's fantastic. And
so that digital language service actually started off about early last year, and it came about because there's a lot of information that came out, information about COVID, information about that, but they're translated. Some of them are translated, but the question is, does the people actually understand them? And the platform where they come from is English. So AFS acknowledged that yes, there's translation, but is that enough? So we actually kind of did an initiative with support from MOH. They gave us fully funded project to work in a digital language service type, wherein we can provide video conferencing translation. So people who have challenge of going to the site for their, let's say, GP appointments, because GP can't provide the interpreter, we could do that for them. Even confirming appointments. Before you receive a letter, you turn up, that's fine. But because everything is telecommunication, so we provide that interpretation as well, and we confirm the appointments of the people, especially the elderly who doesn't know how to use technology. And most of the time they will go to their GP for things, but because they can't go, they need someone to be there to help them. And so our staff has been doing that. We do telephone interpretation, telephone confirmation of appointments, and now that we're back to face to face, we can do some face to face too.
And so how has this obviously been one of the things that is I can say inspired, if I can
Yeah.
use the word
Yes.
loosely, inspired from what we went through during COVID.
Yeah.
Are there any other sort of things that lessons that you've learned that you've brought into the so-called post-COVID era, but not really post-COVID?
So we have community connector. I don't know if you heard about community connectors. So like I mentioned earlier, we were granted funding from the MSD for community connector staff. Initially, during COVID and even during winter time, when there's rampant of COVID cases, we provide food support, and we're proud to say that we provide culturally appropriate food, not just the food parcel, here you go, whatever's in there, you have it. You know, we try our best to meet their need, but of course, we can only do limited stuff. But we try our best to provide halal food, let's say, for example, or for Chinese people to provide the ingredients they need, not just the supermarket food. A bit of a task to our staff, but we did that. We have really passionate staff who will even deliver on a weekend. They're quite awesome, to be honest. We were so blessed with passionate staff. And then we were given discretionary funding as well to help people who have financial difficulties, who lost their job, and some of them got trapped in New Zealand, unfortunately, during COVID, and they don't have any more resources. The family member who sponsored them doesn't have any more resources. So we supported them financially as well, as much as we can. But of course, we have to kind of divide it to the population. But we're doing what we could. So that has been like a business as usual for us, And then now that things has been kind of settled down, things has been lifted, all the rules has been kind of lifted. We've learned a lot of things doing the community connector role, because when we talk to them on the phone, they talk about their food, yes, they talk about their financial hardship, yes, but there's more to it. Our staff are trained staff. There are social workers, there are counselors, and they explore other issues they have. And things that we find out are there's domestic violence in the family. We find out issues that, because of COVID, family breakdown, husband and wife separated, and one of the, either the husband or the wife struggles financially because the main earner left. So things like that. We also find out that, there's an increase of mental health issues. People become more anxious. They don't even want to go out. They're so scared. What will happen now? Now there's no more masks. What are we going to do? So our staff work with them around that, and we started working collaboratively with other NGOs. We referred them to right support. And to be honest, we're Asian Family Services, but we receive calls from different ethnicities. And we never turn them away, because at the end of the day, this is a community. They came to us because they don't know where to go. And if we can direct them to the right path, or the path that could help them, for us, that's success. Now what we are focusing more around driver's license and employment. Because one thing that highlighted to us during our work is that losing the job, losing the income has a big impact on their lives, on their family. And if we can help them, so initially we're helping them with the money, but if we help them to get their own income, then they will have a better life. We can't continue giving them, the government can't continue giving, and to be honest, it's not a lot as well. They can do more. So we're supporting them around that. We've seen some challenges as well around, people with temporary visa who's on working holiday or work visa that's about to expire. So we liaise with MSD, and MSD's been really good. They are open to supporting this type of needs. So it's been, and we just continue just doing this, because we know now it's not just about the money. It's not just about the COVID. We can foresee that soon it's not just about me having COVID or what am I going to do when I'm sick. It's the mental health will come in.
Yeah.
The issues will start to come out. It will arise. People will suddenly become, anxious, depressed, or having panicking about what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
So as a team, we're preparing ourselves.
Yeah.
And we are resourcing ourselves, looking at what resources we can offer our people, our clients, our community, and reaching out. Like we do a lot of we're doing a lot of public health lately, especially during the moon festivals. We go out there, we promoted our services, but also we inform them of what's available out there.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that insight and for all of the work that you and the Asian Family Services have been doing throughout these past couple of months. And thank you so much for joining us on this show.
Thank you so much, too, Priti.
That's it from us today. My name is Priti Garude, and I'll see you at the next episode of Who's Who, in conversation with community champions.